Hey friends, hey, how are you guys doing today? Today is March 1st, 2025. We done already made it to March. Time is slow, but it goes by so fast at the same time. But I guess this is my new diary entry. Um, I guess this is really shit, it kind of feels like an echo room already. So I might as well take advantage of it. Maybe this is where I could be my most vulnerable. But shoot, where do I start off? Um, well, I pretty much am about to complete my first week of antidepressants and my consistency with taking my ADHD medicine. Um, I would definitely say that I see an improvement, especially when it comes to just my mood overall. Um, I see myself becoming a little more productive. That kind of like cloud is kind of gone. Still a bit exhausted though. Like I feel like I need to catch up on a lot of sleep that I haven't really gotten. Um, I still feel like I have a lot of things on my plate too. So, but I ain't necessarily crying over it. Stuff still has to get done. But I'm just glad that things just looks a little bit more clearer. One of the things that look clearer is the fact, and I hate saying it because I feel like I've kind of villainized myself, or I like condemn myself for saying this. But one thing that I am coming clearer is that I don't want to be a pet owner anymore, or at least not right now in this phase of my life. I adopted 2 kittens, and I will say that it has been a less than enjoyable experience. For one, it's been really isolating because I didn't realize that a lot of people around me didn't like cats. So I didn't, haven't really got like a lot of help with them. And I haven't really been able to bond with them in a way that I wanted to. And I kind of hate it because, I really like cats, just for what they represent. And I think that they're, as you say, some misunderstood creatures. But then I also understand me and where I am in my life. And I'm not really too fond of having animals in my house that I can't necessarily bond with, but I'm responsible for caregiving. And it's not simple caregiving either. I was basically raising babies. And I just feel like I've gotten kind of to a point to maybe, it's time for me to kind of face the fact that I don't think that we were the best pair. And then on top of, a lot is happening in this 1 bedroom apartment. From the zoomies to, the destruction of property because of the zoomies. And, one of them looked like they didn't develop developed pica. And is not attracted to wet food to save their lives. And then the other one is just, it's like he's needy and rude at the same time. So I don't even know how to navigate that. But one thing that I do realize the most is that I started developing an allergy for their hair. So I had to start doing like room separation with them, which it's kind of going well, but it's kind of not, because I can tell like they're getting frustrated, especially like the boy. And it's a lot of pushback because at the beginning I kind of was letting them walk all over me in a bit because I wanted to try my best to see how I could build this bond with them. But now I kind of realize this bond may never necessarily be there. It's like the best way that I've tried to kind of ring them in is really kind of have to put my foot down. And so I don't know if how they're wishy-washy with how they're receiving it. I should say that. Um, so, but they got to know the crate very well. Because yeah, like I've had to, know that there's consequences to too many redirections. So, and yeah, I've tried to look for help. It's not a lot of helpful spaces because I feel like there's just certain behaviors with cats that's just been normalized. So it's either you deal with it or you deal with it, but that's not ratio. Um, but I am also looking at rehoming options for them as well, especially because of like the allergy that I have, and then also too, um, baby girl, she has an anxiety issue, which is now starting to turn into aggression, and so we kind of have already had like an episode, and I think that was kind of the moment where I was just like, you know what, I think I just may not be that girl for you. Um, and I am okay with saying that now. I am okay with saying it now. Because I think sometimes we're guilted into this idea that we have to force things to work. And just like, when certain relationships with humans don't work out, same thing happens with animals too. And it's just that ideally you want to be able to match them with somebody, but sometimes this is not always the case. And then I'm also recognizing that a lot of the shelters do not take surrenders like that because the claim is that they're always full. So yeah, you're kind of stuck with the animal, or you find a way to rehouse them, or from what unfortunately what happens, you see people kind of like abandon them on the side of the road, and it kind of sucks because I mean, if all your shelters are full and they won't take your key, take them, where else can you take them? So you kind of see why certain things are the way they are, and they're expensive too. So girl, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I was just like, yo, I got animals in my house that halfway don't fuck with me. I halfway that don't like coming home because I already know that even if I work all day, I won't be able to sit down because you got two cats that want to be entertained and fed and taken care of. And it's all that good stuff. And then on top of that, they're not that socialized either because, again, I've been on my solo tip for a minute, and of course a lot of people don't like to come over because they don't like to come over because yeah, they don't like to come over because they don't like the cats, so they're not socialized. Which then is like, bitch, if I start to date and they already don't necessarily care for men either, like the repair dudes that might come over, honey, they run and will try to jump off. They'll run and try to jump off the window. So I'm like, look, dating is gonna be like terrible if they're here. It's gonna be terrible if they're here. So that's why I'm just like, you know what? Maybe we just might not work, baby. Cause I don't plan on being no lonely cat lady. That was never the plan. That was never the plan. Never. So we gonna have to change that for real. But yeah, like things have been clear, and on the spiritual side too. And I threw OB on it, and I pulled cards on it. I know that they got hit with the spiritual work that was thrown at me. I know they did. And unfortunately, I feel like in order to remove them off, I'm probably going to have to take them to the practitioner that helped me. And unfortunately, I do not have the money for that. Which I know is like what affects our relationship. So that's why I was just like, I feel like it's met its inevitable end. And I just, kind of have to grieve the fact that, if you hear this is my kittens. they low-key showing out. Again, see, this is what I'm saying. They showing out because I'm on this video. They start that little attention-seeking behavior because they see me paying attention, and now they want up. So it is what it is. It's what it is. And it typically is initiated by the boy that's chill. And that's what happened. Because baby girl was just chilling. It happens like this all the time. So if you hear zoomies happening, it's the kittens. But I actually wanted to come on and kind of talk about like something that I saw on TikTok. And I was trying to talk to my mom about it, but then I recognized like, yo, I really wish I kind of had friends to kind of have this conversation with, but I was just like, fuck it, I'll just save it for YouTube. So I forgot her name. I really, I don't follow her, but she is popular on the app. I want to say she probably has over 1 million followers, and she had talked about how, that you're dealing with a real man if you turn into a 5-year-old little girl with them. Like, you feel so safe and secure, you feel like a little girl, you feel giddy, you feel all that good stuff. And if you are if you find yourself kind of feeling like a grown one, kind of like a bitch and stuff, then obviously you're not with a good man. He ain't for you. And while I can understand where she's coming from, in the sense of, being the type of man that can make you feel safe and secure, and you can kind of like let your guard down and things like that. What bothered me was the idea of feeling like a child with a man. And I know that there's a lot of women that will give me pushback with the idea like, oh no, you don't know what that means, not an actual child, just safe and secure. But the thing is, why does it have to be taken back to childhood? You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is because, say if a man were to say that I wanted to be with my wife that can make me feel like a 5-year-old and this and that, I feel like some of y'all will try to say that he's a mama's boy. Oh, you want to find somebody to treat you like your mama. See, y'all men, I want to grow up, this. And I just don't understand why is that sometimes the behavior that we do not like in men, we want the privilege of that being acceptable within us. I don't like the idea of seeing women say things like, when I'm with my man, I don't be thinking, I don't like to use my brain, I don't do this, I just be anywhere. Like, why? How does being with someone, make you want to lose your awareness like that? And it may sound cute and funny, but that's how a lot of us end up in the situations that we are in, because we kind of rest in this delusion that if I'm with somebody that I love, that I'm not supposed to have my fucking blinkers on. And you're still supposed to always have your blinkers on, because trust and believe, 9 times out of 10, your man might still have your blinkers on. There's no point that you don't expect your man to act like an adult. So why should there not be an expectation that he wants that from you? If anything, at least for me, I've been used to men masculizing me. I've been used to men not allowing me to operate how I am and still feel like a feminine woman. And I say that like, part of the conversation I had with my mother was that I feel like the way that I approach friendships or my relationships with women is a tad bit different than women that I know who were raised with sisters. See, I was raised with my brothers. So I was, the only girl sibling, of course, opposite of my mom. But then, my former friends, my best, people guess you used to call them best friends, ex-best friends, whatever the fuck you want to call it, were raised primarily with their sisters. I didn't have a close relationship with my sister growing up. So, the people, my brothers were who I was raised with. And so the way that I approach, like maybe even conflict resolution and certain things like that is kind of completely different than how it is dealing with women. And which is why sometimes some things can be kind of avoidant too, because I was, yeah, you know what? Actually, let's break it down. That's probably where I get some of my like avoidant kind of behavior from too, is because I was also around men that didn't like to, they kind of like to shut down shit when they didn't want to talk about it. So it just kind of goes into this whole, I'd be like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep it to myself, whatever it is. Where no, my ass deserves attention at the mic. It's just a little different. Like my father was very straight to the point, cut, all that good stuff. He didn't really have like that line of compassion, empathy that will like allow you to give every detail of a story. He was very like, okay, so what is it? What's the problem? All this. And I kind of take a bit from him, where when I have a conversation with somebody, I'm solution focused. I'm like, okay, well, how are we going to move this forward? What are we going to do with it? And I recognize that with women, and this is like, even when I, talk to my brothers, going back to that, talk to my brothers and things, when they talk, especially when it comes to a problem, typically when we speak to each other, it is to provide a solution for something. Like if I go to you for a problem, I go to you for this, it's not always necessary to vent. It's just like, yo, I'm coming to you because I need help with the issue, and I want to see how that goes. And I see with women, they are the venting type. Like I didn't get that venting from my brothers. My brothers never gave me that. We never really vented to each other, emotionally in that way. Whereas that's how it is with women. But it got to a point to where I was recognizing that for a lot of women, they weren't necessarily looking for a solution. They just really want a venting. And I didn't realize how much that was like weighing down on me. But that's how kind of like, unfortunately, I feel like people kind of masculinize me, or like my feelings, as me being that like I was the man to them. And it kind of, and then it was like that in like my friendships, and then it was also like that in with my relationships with men. And that was because for my dad, of course, he was a very productive person. My mom too. Like we're productive people. They did things. My father always made sure that he had, he worked, had a job. My mom always made sure she took care of the household. She was very active with children. They both were active in the church. So I knew what it meant to live a productive life. And at the time, I was dating men who in some ways were not necessarily doing the same. Or they also came from a household where the woman basically played that masculine kind of like financial provider role. And in some ways they expected their woman to have that too. So I'm kind of saying all of that to like, I feel like for me, to be in a relationship with somebody that can see me for who I am and don't masculinize it, to say that her being solution focused isn't her trying to be the man or trying to be or aggressive. That's just Marisha being a productive individual. That Marisha's ability to work and do these and that is not her trying to compete with me. It's not her trying to be the man. That's just because she was taught by her parents on how to be a productive individual. And I want to protect that. I want to make sure that that is safe. Like, I want to know what it's like to breathe. Because, even as a woman, I still find myself like, being young at heart, being, childlike, Still, I still love adult animation. I still love amusement parks. I still love a lot of things as a woman, and I don't need to turn back into a child. Like, I kind of got that. Marisha got that. Marisha has been trying to tend to her inner child, and I feel like I'm tending to my inner child now, to where like I'm making space for her to be heard, because there's a time where I feel like when nobody listened to Marisha, like truly emotionally, really gave a fuck about how I felt. Like, I don't ever really remember like anybody asking me how I truly felt about things, and like really took that into consideration. Because I can remember too many times when people did things despite how I felt, despite knowing that that's what I desired, despite knowing that's what I wanted, despite knowing that that's what I needed. But like now, no, Marisha's providing that. So like, I want somebody to take care of the woman, just like right now I'm taking care of these fucking cats. These motherfuckers getting back rubs, toe rubs, hand scratches all fucking day. Fed multiple meals, and getting played with. Who's gonna come up? Who's gonna make sure Marisha? I don't need no kid. I don't need to be trying to throw a child. Okay? I don't even know if I want that. I don't know. Cause even when I see me now, like I want to feel prissy and pretty and delicate, this fragile material, that's what I want to feel like. Like, I don't know if I want to feel like a kid. Like maybe it'd be like at some point where we both can feel like teenagers or something, and we done fell in love, for the first time, so I could that's that. But you had bitches talking about, oh, I want him to make me feel like a 5-year-old in my strawberry shortcake nightgown. I said, wait, this is y'all a little too specific. No, thank you. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Again, I might get the pushback. You might be, you just don't know this and this, and you're married. Let me tell you something. My parents were married for 45 years. I even talked to my mother about it. She said she ain't never heard of that shit. Okay? Even my sister's married. I don't talk to her ass. And then 2 of my brothers are married, and one, he a bachelor, but he owned his own home, college grad. Working at the university. So I know I can say something about how I want a motherfucker make me feel. It ain't like a fucking child. I want to feel like a woman. Ain't that Shania Twain? That's how I want to feel. Okay. That's it. Talking about some damn 5-year-old. I said, hell no. I said, y'all better get y'all little daddy issues together. And I mean that. Because I said something like I said it before. Y'all love to call these men out. Whether you call me, they trying to say that they got mommy issues, trying to say that they sassy, DL, broke, everything under the sun. Knowing good and goddamn well that same thing can be said about some of y'all. But, we ain't gonna go there today. Because we're going to stick to me. But, yeah, like, that's what I want, honestly. I just want a space to feel safe again. To feel like I don't have to hide pieces of myself. The same way that I, try my best to make space for other people. I want that space to be made for me. I just want better. I feel like I spent all my 20s being sad or just experiencing like temporary moments of satisfaction and contentment and happiness. But like, no, I don't want that to just be like temporary. Like, I want it to be for a long time. And so that's why I've been doing all the work to clear all this shit out, because I want to be happy for a very long time. I want to be happy and I want some money. Okay? I'm tired of just having to, have the bare minimum, or, just having just enough to do like little something. Like, nah, I wanna swipe. Well, not like that. That's not, I'm still gonna be a frugal bitch. But like, I always want to be able to do my things and just not think about it. And I also want to do it with like my money too. Like, I don't even necessarily want to do it with somebody else's money. Like, I would love to do it with my money, because like I just feel like there's power in knowing that you have your own resources. Like, it feels so good to know like you can just move however you want to move, and the things that you do isn't based off, or you want to do is based off of what somebody else is doing. And that's part of the reason as to why I'm not upset that I'm not married yet or in some long-term relationship and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of people who unfortunately cannot do things without A, having to go to a partner, or B, be able to liberate themselves from situation, because they become so like codependent on their partner being